And here it is. We're doing it again. Yes, indeed, we are. Roll up, ladies and gentlemen. One man went to mow. We're doing it again. Yes, indeed, we are. That thing that we do round about this time, done, being done now exactly at this time. So if you are available, come spend however long the session lasts with the session. That bald-headed or your laughing man is at it again. One man went to mow. The eagle has landed.
Only water. Oh yeah, let's see go. Water, only water, where they see ma. Water. Oh yeah, se koko mi kíákíá. Ya me mu. Water, 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 water. Water, only water, where they see ma. Hapa o naido. Hapa o naido. Hapa you don't come o. Hapa o naido. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù yé o. Ilé sọ́díyà kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rè o. Bobby master kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rè o. Chifu fáìlà tí kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rè o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù dé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù dòde ojàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Odúyẹ̀lá ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosoname ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosodúnkẹ́ ẹ̀yẹ rẹ̀ ó dilé o. Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù yé o. Ilé sọ́díyà kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rè o. Bobby master kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rè o. Chifu fáìlà tí kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rè o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù dé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù dòde ojàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Odúyẹ̀lá ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosoname ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosodúnkẹ́ ẹ̀yẹ rẹ̀ ó dilé o. Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Ikú kò ní rí wa gbéṣe o.
And there you heard it. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́ìkọ ìgbàlà tẹ̀lé. Ikú kò ní rí wa gbéṣe. So ikú kò ní rí wa gbéṣe. May death have nothing to do with us. That prayer will never get old. So ikú kò ní rí wa gbéṣe. As guys, I bring you this. Nigerians are not alone in poverty. Even Americans are stealing petrol. Fashola speaking to the space, justifying now what they have reduced the country into, he and his papa. So Nigerians are not alone in poverty. Even Americans are stealing petrol. A headline attributed to the former Lagos State Governor Babajide Fashola. So this next headline somewhat topical and really coming to the first headline was a Nigerian American mix, and now this next headline is also a Nigerian American mix. So we're coming in via the Oscars for this one. Ubi Franklin calls out BOVI for talking about him and his kids whilst let's do that again. Ubi Franklin calls out BOVI for talking about him and his kids whilst hosting the Headies. So that's some award, Headies. So Headies. Whilst hosting the Headies, as he wants that anyone who insults him again will get the Will Smith treatment. So Will Smith has now opened up that space. I'm sure it's not news to anybody what happened between Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars. So a slap requested, a slap delivered, and praises all round for Will Smith. Don't talk about my wife in that manner. I will not tolerate it. So that now line has now been drawn by Will Smith, and anybody now inviting whoever dares to cross it. Ubi calls out BOVI. Ubi calls out BOVI for talking about him and his kids whilst hosting the Headies, as he wants that anyone who insults him again will get the Will Smith treatment. So that is now the new tag of it now, the Will Smith treatment. And by the way, what are your thoughts on exactly what transpired at the Oscars? So that's a global topic actually. So it's interesting to see how people interact with that one. 2023, Jonathan gives presidency. 2023, Jonathan gives presidency conditions to join APC. Sources, so condition, not condition. So I think it might well just be a condition. 2023, Jonathan gives presidency condition to join the APC. So quite what the condition is, we find out just shortly. And okay, we may or may not go to these stories because the earlier sessions always short, as you know. Southeast PDP backs Southern governors on zoning 2023 presidency. So they're still trying to hold on to that currency of power transiting to the south. So all tricks to stop Atiku essentially is what is in play here. But is it too big a juggernaut for them to handle? Southeast PDP backs Southern governors on zoning 2023 presidency. So quite who the runners and riders are and what their assertion is, we find out shortly. Christians are making church look like a scam. This is a clergyman, so what's led him to say that? We may or may not find out. So that is the menu. So just kick back, as I always say, lean back, as I always say, take it easy, as I always say. But before you do any of those things, just gently click on the subscribe button, and with even more feather hands, click on the like button as well. So click on like and subscribe, and then lean back and kick back, and let's go through the session together. Let's come in properly to attention to the anthem, One Man.
National anthem, Mr. Albert Congo raises the flag of the new nation.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count Nigeria may be blessed.
Iya ta ma zan zauna kawai. Kalau, 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 lumbu, lumbuka, lumbuka, lumbu, lumbuka. Come on.
And there it is, Skelewu, Skelewu, according to the Mala. So Skelewu, Skelewu, as guys, I bring you this. Nigerians are not alone in poverty. Even Americans are still in petrol, a headline attributed to Tunde Fashola. Minister of Works and Housing Tunde Fashola on Friday said that the rising cost of living and economic hardship are not peculiar to Nigeria. Mr. Fashola says the raging crisis in Nigeria can be likened to situation in other countries like the United States and the United Kingdom. During an appearance on Channels Television's Politics Today, the minister was confronted with a chart of economic indices showing a 220% increase in fertilizer prices between 2020 and 2022, the depreciation of the naira by 59.45%, and the rise in the price of cooking gas by 129% within the same period. Mr. Fashola says the statistics should not be Mr. Fashola says the statistics should not be published in isolation. I think it is perhaps not helpful to publish that spreadsheet in isolation. What you should do is to compare it with the rest of the world. Tell me anywhere in the world where the cost of living is not rising. Whether it is the United Kingdom, the United States, Mr. Fashola told the political magazine program. Just 3 days ago, CNN was showing a footage of Americans stealing fuel, and they would not be stealing fuel and they would not be stealing fuel and they would not be stealing if it was cheap. These are very challenging times globally. So this is not an isolated occurrence that affects Nigeria alone, he added. The minister's comment comes as Nigerians are witnessing increased hardship in several areas, especially fuel shortage and inflation. President Mohamed Buhari rose to power in 2015, promising to tackle these issues. But analysts say little evidence exists to suggest anything would turn for the better in the remaining 1 year of the regime's 2 terms. In the remaining 1 year of the regime's 2 terms. Still, Mr. Fashola said the administration is responding to the economic challenges inflicted by the global pandemic and the results are becoming visible. When COVID happened, we responded and put up an economic stability committee and we cushioned the impact of the difficult times. Uh, when COVID happened, we responded and put up an economic stability committee, and we cushioned the impact of the difficult times on Nigeria through a suite of measures, and the impact and results are now there for us to see, the former minister said. So your life is better than the Americans, according to Fashola, and there it is right there. Ubi Franklin calls out BOVI for talking about him and his kids whilst hosting the Headies, as he warns that anyone who insults him again will get the Will Smith treatment. Oh, this thing is just shade. Ubi Franklin has taken to Instagram to warn people who mock him and bring his kids into it. The talent manager shared a video of Will Smith smacking Chris Rock for mocking his wife Jada Pinkett Smith at the Oscars. He then warned that anyone who insults him from now he then warned that anyone who insults him from now on will get the same treatment. He went on to call out comedian BOVI. He said BOVI did the same thing to him at the last Headies Award. He said he was struggling at the time and trying to put his life together. And BOVI made a hurtful joke about him and his kids. He then warned BOVI not to try it again. So let's read now what he posted on Instagram, this element. So this is what Ube Franklin posted. It says, this is the way now. This is the way now. You yab me and we get on it straight, or you yab me and I yab you with receipts of the things that the world don't know right on my page here, and we will go anywhere you want to go from there. Comedians should not be used as a decoy. Sorry, let's do that again. This is the way it is now. You yab me and we get on it straight, or you yab me and I yab you with receipts of the things the world don't know right on my page here, and we will go anywhere you want to go from there. Comedy should not be used as a decoy to disrespect people on national television. BOVI, you did this at last year's Headies, and I sent your friends and close allies to warn you. Do not try it again. I am struggling with stuff and trying to put myself together, and you go on live TV to talk about my kids. BOVI, until next time. Thank you. So there it is right there, the Will Smith treatment. So you expect to see a lot more of this now because Will Smith has now opened up that space. So slaps will be dished if you cross the line. So slaps will be dished as you cross the line, but a person is intent on crossing a line, but at least a physical slap will not be dished, but perhaps a metaphoric one may be dished. 2023, Jonathan gives presidency condition to join APC. Sources. The reported plan to bring former President Goodluck Jonathan as the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress seemed not to be. The reported plan to bring in former President Goodluck Jonathan as the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress seemed not to be ending anytime soon. The focus of the ruling party will now turn to searching for a presidential candidate after its successful national convention on Saturday. With the emergence of Abdullahi Adamu as the national chairman of the party, there are high probabilities that the APC might zone its presidential ticket to the south in 2023. There are reports that the presidency is working underground to bring in Jonathan as the party's candidate, despite the declaration of Bola Tinubu, Dave Umahi, Rocha Sokorocha, and some others. According to correspondent, the presidency believes Jonathan has the upper hand because he is a southerner and also a Christian, which is important given the fact that President Buhari is a Muslim. There are plans to return power to the north as Jonathan can only serve one term in office since he had served in 2015. Recall that the chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Sage, was quoted to have recently stated that the APC has plans to pair Governor of Yobe State, Mia Malabuni, with Jonathan, a former minister from the South-South, who spoke with correspondents on Sunday, said the former president is set to decide with the convention of the ruling party now over. He further stated that Jonathan is technically out of the PDP as at today. According to him, yes, the former president was approached by the leaders of the APC who sold him the idea of running on the party's platform in 2023. They said they were happy with the manner he handled his defeat in 2015, conceding defeat even before the election results were fully announced, without any form of bitterness, and the cooperation he has been giving President Buhari. They also said, as a true Democrat, Nigerians need him at this moment to unite the country. I am aware that he, Jonathan, gave them only one condition, and that is if they are ready to make him the consensus presidential candidate of the party. He doesn't want any acrimony that will rise from contesting the presidential primary at all. That is the only condition I am aware he gave the APC leaders who were in talks with him. So there it is right there. He wants a consensus. That is, of course, to tell Tinubu to step down. So everybody else in contention, they can be persuaded to step down. But what will persuade Tinubu to step down for Jonathan is the question. Southeast PDP backs Southern governors on zoning 2023 presidency. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the Southeast has aligned itself with the position of the Southern Governors Forum that the next president of Nigeria should come from the South. The PDP Southeast also directed that the existing zoning pattern in states and constituencies of the zone must be strictly adhered to. Briefing journalists after a zonal executive committee meeting of the PDP in Enugu on Sunday, the national vice chairman Southeast, Ali Odefa, said it was agreed PDP should zone the presidency to the south ahead of the party's primaries. The meeting was attended by the party's leader in the southeast, including governors Ifeanyi, something or the other, Okezoa Akwazu, PDP National Secretary Sam Anyanwu, state and federal legislators. Others are NEC and BOT members. Mr. Odefa said the PDP Southeast stood with Mr. Odefa said the PDP Southeast stood with the resolution of the Southern governors that the next president should be zoned to the South. On the issue of zoning at the state and constituency level in the zone, the PDP vice chairman said, "We said where there are zoning patterns, they must be strictly observed and adhered to in every state and constituency. We also went ahead to make interventions for our members who are holding political and elective positions in Anambra State who didn't defect to other political parties but stood by the PDP in times of bad weather." So the Southeast doubles down on that zoning, whatever it is that they are talking about. So, but how that's essentially just the Peter Obi move, just the totality of all of that. Christians are making church look like scam. Clergyman, the Anglican cleric in charge of the Church of the Pentecost, the Anglican cleric in charge of the Church of the Pentecost Diocese of Akwa, Ekene Nwafo, says the church is not a scam. Mr. Nwafo spoke in Akwa during a homily to mark Mothering Sunday. According to him, his call became necessary because people, especially the youth, embrace idol worship and believe the church has become a scam. The clergyman added that people who viewed the church as a scam were ignorant of God's word and Christendom. Christians who come to church but still live in sin of corruption, fornication, adultery, envy, falsehood, amongst others, are wolves who make unbelievers see the church as a scam that should be abolished, explained Mr. Nwafo. He added, people see the church as a scam because many of the so-called believers have no encounter with God as they dwell in sins, and as such, the glory of God cannot reign in their lives. He lamented that the quest for materialism has increased and swayed believers to live as if Christ has no commandment to be followed. These people act without the fear of God, seeking materialism at all cost to boost their ego, stated the clergyman. Love for the world and the vainglory of the world push so-called Christians out of the track of God's will, pushing them to amass wealth at all cost. Quoting from the books of Ephesians, Mr. Nwaifor urged Christians to put on the whole armor of God so that they could stand against the wiles of the devil. Mr. Nwafo pointed out that those who see the church as a scam or call for it. Mr. Nwafo pointed out that those who see the church as a scam or call for its abolishment lacked the understanding of God's word. So there's a clergyman now insisting that the church is not a scam, but contrary to the experience of the majority of churchgoers. So that's been the readout. It looks as though there's nobody to take it on. So we leave it there. Carry the conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.